Our top story this hour, ANC spokesperson Zizi Kodwa has dismissed media reports that President Jacob Zuma will appear before an integrity committee. Kodwa spoke to our reporter Aldrin Sampear about the meeting of the ANC and its veterans in Irene Pretoria.
The meeting between the ANC's National Working Committee as well as the ANC veterans is currently underway. They are discussing some of those issues that were raised during that meeting that took place on Monday, and today is feedback. The big issue for the ANC vets is, of course, that consultative conference, which is something that they have suggested, which they believe will help the ANC build unity within the party. As you know, that the ANC said that it has been facing disunity, and right now I'm joined by the spokesperson of the ANC, Zizi Kodwa, about this meeting that's currently taking place. Zizi, you said at the moment that you have the veterans who are currently giving their presentation. What exactly does the formation of this meeting take?
One of the firm proposals by veterans is a convenership of the National Consultative Conference. In their view, given the challenges in their own analysis, given the challenges faced by their own organization, the African National Congress, they think that a convenership of such a meeting may contribute to foster unity of the African National Congress. We couldn't dismiss their proposal, and I think this meeting will focus more on how best that proposal practically can help to foster unity. It's going to go on for some time. There are a number of other issues they raise, because at the heart of their documents, it's not about who said what, it's not about individuals. It's about the health and the state of the African National Congress. They are very jealous about their own organization, and I think it's important to give them an opportunity to present it to their own leadership.
It will be quite tight for the ANC to even convene a consultative conference next year, considering, of course, how tight the diary is next year. We start in January, you've got the January 8th statement. In June, you have the policy conference, and then, of course, you have the elective conference. So quite a busy year for the ANC.
It's going to be an eventful year next year. More than any other year. You will recall that we've already adopted a roadmap towards a policy conference. We are now in preparation of the January 8th, which will be held in Gauteng. We are already preparing for the 54th National Conference. So it's back to back. As to what form the National Conference will take the proposal practically is something that this meeting must take into account already, the roadmap in terms of the events that are coming in 2017.
Would that decision come out of this meeting, or is it something that will probably come out next meeting, when there's another meeting probably next year?
Our commitment is that this meeting must come with a minimum program, must come with practical solutions. We are not looking forward to a marathon meeting with our veterans. They have made their minds very clear in terms of the documents. The leadership of the ANC must respond to the proposals made by our veterans. And I think some of the issues are very practical. You will recall some of the issues they are raising in their own observation of what led to the electoral decline of the 3rd of August. We agree 80% on some of the observations they make. The issues about what practical solutions then do we put in place in order to restore, to make sure that we reclaim the lost ground. These are issues that I think we must add them into a minimum program, working together with our veterans, because we must remember, all what they yearn for is that they want to contribute towards the health and the state of the African National Congress.
Why isn't Thabo Mbeki part of this meeting?
No, President Mbeki was not part of this meeting. You remember, in his letter, the president was simply advising as a former president. He was not part of any veterans delegation.
Okay, and let's speak about 2017. The big one, of course, is the elective conference, and many have been asking this question is, when does the ANC officially open the debate around who will succeed President Jacob Zuma, if at all there's somebody who must succeed him?
At the moment, our preoccupation and obsession in the ANC is to build and foster unity, which we must make sure that when we go to the national conference, that national conference must better unify the ANC. We don't want to go to the African National Congress, next national conference, which may further deepen us into crisis and divide us. That's why at the moment we are in discussion with our structures throughout the country to discuss a set of principles guided by the seminal document called Through the Eye of the Needle. Because we don't want to be obsessed with names. That's why we condemn this premature pronouncement, public pronouncement of names. The right to select or to elect a leader or leadership of the ANC is a right only reserved for branches of the ANC. And that right is not transferable, even to alliance partners, even to the leagues of the ANC, some of them continue to make public statements. It's unfortunate because those statements do not contribute to foster unity of the ANC. At an appropriate time, the ANC will announce and open the discussion within its structures those who have got a right to participate in the selection of leadership.
Isn't it more divisive if you have that debate later on in the year? If you, let's say you have it just before the elective conference, isn't it that when it's at that point that it becomes more divisive? Because now you have ANC structures that go into an elective conference with no clear understanding or knowing exactly who it is that should be elected to become the next leader of the ANC or part of the leadership of the party.
Structures of the ANC must not be obsessed with names. They must be obsessed with principles. Any name must match the principles that must have been agreed, a set of principles. At the moment, we can see the rush by some individuals to pronounce on names. We want structures of the African National Congress to appreciate the reason why everybody whom we elect and the collective must be guided by a set of principles.
Let's speak quickly about the Integrity Commission. We've seen reports saying that President Jacob Zuma is due to appear before the Integrity Commission, but you had clarified that he's not appearing before the Commission, but he's actually meeting the members of the Integrity Commission.
It's important because I think the reports are just in over-exaggeration. The President is not appearing before the Integrity Commission. There are no charges, therefore, for him to come and answer before the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission has invited the President to a meeting to meet with the commissioners to discuss the health and the state of the African National Congress in its capacity as a president of the ANC.
Do you know whether the Integrity Commission will ever would at all raise the issue around their powers as the Integrity Commission? Because some have been saying that you have this Integrity Commission of the ANC, but it hasn't been able to call the big names, including President Jacob Zuma for that matter, even after the Constitutional Court case on Nkandla.
I'm not aware about the issues that they will raise with the President. There isn't one issue that must form the state of the African National Congress. But it's people who don't know the work of the Commission. I can tell you from a report from one province, for example, is that the Provincial Integrity Commission had invited ministers, the MECs, appeared. Those reports, will never see them in public because the Integrity Commission must deal with tigers and flies alike. It must not look at, regardless of your position, it must deal with members of the ANC equally. And we are equal before the law in terms of the Constitution of the African National Congress. And as and when the Integrity Commission feels deemed necessary, it won't deal also with it just simply on the basis of preferment of cases. It can decide whatever issue that it feels necessary that deals with the reputation of the ANC, can invite any individual to appear before it. But in this case, there is no such an incident where the President has been invited to answer any charges. He's been invited to a meeting.
Final question, the ANC's NEC, final NEC takes place, starts tomorrow. What's on the agenda? What are some of the crucial issues that the ANC will be tackling?
Importantly is to look at the events of the year, but to also plan for next year. I think it's important that this year we must take into account of many other issues that we must prepare for next year, because next year is going to be an eventful year and we must be ready, because already as an African National Congress we are in full swing in terms of preparing for 2019, and whatever we do next year linked to organizational processes such as policy conference and the national conference, but we are preparing for 2019.
Perfect. Thank you so much. There you have it, Zizi Kodwa, the spokesperson of the ANC, speaking about the ANC's National Working Committee meeting with the ANC veterans, as well as the ANC NEC meeting, which will start tomorrow. But quite importantly, as we've discussed earlier on as well, is the unity of the party and how this meeting with the veterans will help foster unity within the ANC. They've made it clear, the veterans, that they are not calling on President Jacob Zuma to resign. That call is a call that has been made by individuals, as they say, and one of those individuals is Zizi Kodwa, who is heading the Save SA campaign. And Zizi Kodwa earlier on speaking to the media saying that they believe that Save SA under Zizi Kodwa will be launched as a political party very soon. They believe that it has all the characteristics of an organization that will be started and start probably contesting the elections as well. But there's something that we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll also have to wait and see whether at the end of this meeting the ANC's NWC will agree to the consultative conference that the ANC veterans have been calling on. Of course, the ANC branches have previously in September, while the Secretary General of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, had been crisscrossing the country, said that there's no need for a consultative conference or an early elective conference. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what will come out of this meeting and whether that consultative conference will now indeed take place. It's back to you in studio.